D-Lee family and friends, make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe. So this morning I wake up to a call from my cousin. She called me and say, "Hey, are your daughter going to school?" And the reason why she called is because yesterday, um, on Sunday, we got a call from all the schools basically saying that our child's school was under threat. Someone, I guess, communicated threats that they were going to possibly be an active shooter. And so this morning she called just to kind of see if I was going to allow my child to go to school. And at first I said yes, because listening to the message, they said that the threat was for the past week. So, but then my daughter goes to school. She calls her mom and just says that a lot of kids are leaving. She's nervous. So I tell my wife to go ahead and go get her from school. Just anxiety high. Everybody gets nervous. And um, so she came home and all those great things, and you'll be able to see that and get her reaction. But the other part of it is that how do we deal with active shooter, right? So we went and took her from school today, but she got to go to school, the rest of the week. Is a threat for the rest of the week. Today was a threat for last week or this week. How are the school going to deal with it moving forward? What schools are possibly in a threat for it? What do you tell your kids how to protect themselves? How do you keep their distance, right? We're not able to homeschool. It's just a lot of questions. It's kind of sad that in this day and time, you got to prep your kids on active shooter, how to deal with it, what not to do, right? You've been seeing it a lot in the nations, right? It just seemed like some changes need to be made. So, my question before we start our daily vlog, and y'all get to see the rest, is how do we supposed to deal with active shooters in society? What do we want to see happen? What differences do we want to see? We got elections coming up. What do we want our politicians to do? What we want to do as a community, right? Because sometimes we feel like politicians don't really hear us, don't really make changes that we want to see. So what do we do as a community? How do we protect our kids? It's kind of sad that we got to have those conversations. And then I have Dax, he's a kindergarten. How do you talk to him about it? How do you protect him? What do you say? Active shooter is serious. I hate that she has to deal with it. A lot of kids, a lot of schools have dealt with it. A lot of things have progressed as far as having to lock down the schools and what do you do? How do you deal with it? How do you protect your kids? A lot of these things. So drop down how you feel. Drop down what we should be doing. Let your voices be heard. Next, you'll be able to hear my daughter comments and my girl. Peace. Okay. Okay. Why you home early from school?
Because we had a threat at our school about a school shooting, and we were on lockdown and stuff. So I wanted to go home.
So what did they say? Did they say anything about it?
Well, yeah, they were just basically talking about how there was a threat and we were on lockdown and you can't really do nothing there, stuff like that. And a lot of people was going home. A lot. It was like a lot of police officers at our school. The news was there, and yeah,
So how it make you feel?
uneasy.
Was you nervous?
Yeah, cause it's so serious and stuff like that just happened what, a week or two ago.
hmm
So
So did your teacher say anything?
yeah, one of my teachers was like, if somebody come at that door, do not open it or whatever, and telling us like that or whatever. She was like, I got it, so don't open it.
So did they like shut down y'all the school where like if y'all needed to go to the bathroom you had to have like a security escort?
Escort, yeah,
hmm
no movement and stuff like that.
So what period did you make it to?
Second, no, third. I mean, it's third.
Mm-hmm.
I left right at lunch, right at lunch when the bell rang.
So how you gonna deal with it? Cause you still gotta go to school. You can't miss the rest of the week or the next 2 weeks. And the threat, I'm assuming, is still gonna be there all week. So how do you deal with it, or what should we do as parents to help you deal with it?
I mean, there's nothing really you can do because it's the world, and it's not really you can do. It's really up to the police or the person that wants to do it. So it's not really nothing you can do. And we go to school. We just hope for the best.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do to give yourself comfort though, so you won't have anxiety walking around school or whatever?
I'll just really just pray. That's all I can really do. Just pray.
So why you didn't wear your running shoes today?
I can run in these.
You can run the Crocs.
Put them in sports mode.
Put them in sports mode.
Yeah, I can run in them.
No, you need to have tennis shoes where you can always be prepared to jiggle and move. So, what are your friends? Were they mad that you left them, or was some of them leaving too?
A lot of them left already. So.
So your mama asked the school was a lot of kids leaving. They just try to say some people are coming and going. Why you think they were trying to cover it up?
So a lot of you don't really get more nervous than what you are or whatever. So
But don't you think it's important for them to be transparent with the parents?
It's at some points, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now tomorrow, do you think y'all gonna be still on lockdown, or you think y'all gonna be? So
unless they figure out who did it and stuff like that, then yeah. But if not, then we probably still be on lockdown and stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna get with you. How was your mama acting? She was acting all weird and nervous and crazy like she normally do?
No, she wasn't acting nervous and stuff. She was just making sure I was okay, and that was really it. And then we're just talking about regular stuff.
Okay. Let me go check in and see what she think. Honey, so
can you go pick it up?
So how do you feel about today?
Today was rough, honestly. So I have been hearing about the threats and stuff like that, which this kind of thing seems to happen quite often, especially when it's something going on like in other states and stuff like that. But once Madison got to school, she kept texting me. And then after a while, she started saying that there were a lot of her friends and classmates and stuff, they were leaving. And I'm like, well, why are they leaving? So probably, I don't remember what time it was, but of course, it's early in the morning. I get a notification saying that they had put the school on lockdown because the police are doing an investigation and all this stuff. And then she's like, Ma, the news is here and the police are here and all that type of stuff. And of course, I'm already feeling uneasy because of everything that's going on. So of course they just made things worse. Madison just overthinks everything. But I think what kind of made me really go and pick her up was when I had got me and Dad had got a call saying that we put on the lockdown because they were doing an investigation. And so that's where things kind of just made me feel uncomfortable. And I feel so this morning, let me just kind of backtrack a little bit. This morning we had to have a conversation with our children, of course the older children, to let them know about other plans, and things that we have to make as a family when it comes to active shootings and things like that when they're at school and stuff. And both of them are honestly at new schools this year. And so places and things that we had included, we had to shift and change. And really both of them are getting to know because they're at two different schools and they're at two different locations. And so it just kind of really plays on your mind when back in my day, yeah, they're telling my age. My parent never had to do that. My parents never had to do that with me. That was something that I didn't have to have a conversation with my mom about. But we had to have conversations with our high schoolers about things like this. And so having to have conversations with them about, different plans and things like, telling them how to handle active shooter situations, or, sometimes when people might be just like starting like having whatever they might have going on, whether it's mental health or whatever might be going on that's affecting someone, that can turn into it being like manic and it being an overall situation. It's super difficult when you have to have those conversations. So we did have to have a conversation with them this morning. I felt like it was well received. But it just kind of, puts you in a place of where you're just like, it is so hard, when you just think about the times that we're in. This is the real world, and this is what's happening, and these are concerns and worries and anxiety and all those type of things that people have to carry with them, because you just don't know from day to day. So I would honestly say, when you have a child that is of age and they understand, have a conversation with them. Have a conversation with them, because it's good to know how they're feeling. It's good to know what their thoughts are. And it's also good to know it's good to know that they might be receiving, you having to choose to say, okay, hey, let's have a plan in place, because you never know what can happen. And this is just where we are right now with society. So it's just best just to have those conversations. I would just honestly say that. So I did go up there to the school, but honestly though, there were many parents picking up their children from school. It wasn't just a couple of parents. And when I got there, there was still, I would say, more than the normal police presence at her school. Which of course, that just kind of made me feel even more confident in my decision to go ahead and pick her up, because there was more police presence. So today has been a day already, and it ain't even 12 o'clock yet, but we're just gonna keep on praying. We're gonna keep God first, and I just pray that all the kids have a safe, productive, and prosperic school year, because this is definitely not something that we all want from anybody or for anybody's child. So I'm praying for those families that have been affected, and I'm praying for those families that are just kind of having a hard time with just adjusting with everything, which pretty much seems like it's all of us. So all right, that's my feelings.